Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cinema Madness Podcast. I'm Madness.
I'm Cinema.
Movie. I hate movies so much. You know, at this point, we review movies so much on this podcast, we're more of a, movie podcast than anything.
I don't know.
I beg to differ heavily.
We talk about, general culture stuff and random brain rot things way too often to be a movie podcast.
True, but, it's unquestionable that we talk about movies quite a bit. It's a revisited topic, right?
It's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Except today.
Yeah.
Today,
we don't have a lot of good things to say about movies as of recent.
Called shot.
No.
These are going to be the 5 worst trailers of 2025. I say that with my whole chest because I don't think worst trailers could come out.
I mean, it's only March, bro.
I don't think it's going to happen. What?
There was only 3.
These are going to be the 3 worst trailers of 2025.
He was planning on this. 5 minus 2. That's what he meant to say.
Yeah.
Well, what's the minus 2 for?
Because it adds the 3.
I was actually thinking 25 and Shrek 5, so I said 5.
Bro has undiagnosed dyslexia.
These are the 5. These are 3 movie trailers, and they're so bad that they add to 5 bad movie trailers.
Somehow
they are so bad they make you forget how to count.
Repeating.
Yes.
Oh wait, no, that would
That's
only be
crazy.
4.
That would be 4. They're 1.66 repeating.
1.66 repeating.
That line carries the same
Worth
energy
of
of
horrible
bone-chilling
movies.
stories that will make you shove a live piranha up your ass.
So, which one do we want to start with first?
I have Shrek 5 written down
Oh
first.
dear Lord!
That one
Okay.
would make me want to shove a live piranha up my ass.
Let me tell you the story, viewer at home or listener at home. When we were looking up the trailer for this, we found it, and I thought it was a parody because of the weird shit that the Mirror was putting up. I thought it was someone's shitpost of a trailer, but no, it's by DreamWorks, and they have Shrek being what.
They officially have some sort of Gmod dance clip in there.
It reminded me of the Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet bit, where he had his head on, where he made, a bunch of different
Also,
memes
the
and whatnot.
cheapest photoshopped images of Shrek ever. There was no effort put into making them look good.
It's not the
art
point.
style's so, it's goopy. It's
Dude,
like they're made out of hyper-realistic Play-Doh.
It's literally, it looks AI generated.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
It's so sad, too, because,
Shrek doesn't look like Shrek. Donkey doesn't look like Donkey. They look like...
Fiona looks like the kid who bites.
Kid named Finger.
I also don't like that Zendaya's a thing.
That's that dude from fucking Overwatch.
I thought it was from Fortnite.
That both of you are wrong. No, it's she's a big star right now, so I guess they're trying to get a big celebrity in on Shrek, which, to be fair, original Shrek had Eddie Murphy, and,
I mean, he's still there.
yeah, he's still there.
Good.
But, you know what I mean. Original Shrek did get Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy, and that was, a big deal. Those are big names. So I guess I shouldn't super have a problem with it. But it feels really shoehorned in to say that their teenage daughter is Zendaya now.
Yeah.
And they're going to review internet memes on a magic mirror.
Okay, my main issues with the trailer. More of a teaser, really. It's 30 seconds, okay? And, 10 seconds of it is just, advertising, blank advertising, right? My 2 issues are, 1, the stupid jokes made in the mirror, because they don't really pertain to, the Shrek universe. It's just garbage to appeal to the zoomers, zoomers, you know?
Well, it's our Shrek memes, right? We made Shrek memes, and they were like, hey, you guys like joking about Shrek. What if we put those memes in the movie?
Yeah, but then it's not funny.
Well, humor is dead. Integrity is dead.
I don't know. Corporations are voracious, and their
when
appetites are
corporations
never
make
ending.
these memes and jokes, and they try to appeal to the generations that are making these memes, why is it they always fall flat on their face?
I think it's general tone deafness because they're not approaching it with the understanding of what makes those jokes funny, because the person making the movie doesn't understand what makes those jokes funny. They just put them in as a reference to a type of humor they don't understand. So it's never going to feel like genuine or funny.
I think I'm realizing something. I know why all the characters look very weird. I mean, yes, the art style is different, but there's one very specific key feature between all of them. Have you noticed that their eyes are just bigger and softer and more round?
Yeah.
Back in the original trilogy, I guess 4 if you want to count Forever After.
Hey,
which,
Shrek,
you know,
Shrek Forever After is better than
Shrek
the
yes,
third.
it might as well be Shrek 3.
It's
Shrek, the actual Shrek 3 is forgettable and kind of bad. But
Shrek
Shrek Forever
Forever
After
After
goes hard as fuck.
Oh,
goes hard as fuck. Their eyes were like sort of cinched. They were almond shaped. It showed a sternness to them, and I feel like that kind of is a physical representation of their character. And with them having these big round eyes, it's supposed to make them appear more friendly. Dare I say, advertiser friendly. Maybe I'm digging into it too deep, but that's one specific thing I noticed watching it, because we rewatched it a couple times.
I mean, so Shrek's head is supposed to be like pumpkin shaped, and it's
now
like
it's
a
like
pear.
an avocado.
Yeah, it's like why is his bottom like jaw so big and like
He
the top of
started
his head is
mewing.
squished?
Dude, he's looking at funny Zoomer memes. He saw the mewing thing. He just started going,
What irks me about the trailer the most is that the old Shrek's face is on the shitty memes they chose to show, but
But he
new
looks
Shrek,
completely fucking different
like,
now.
What the fuck's going on? Also, Fiona looks so bad.
Yeah.
I don't like what they did to Fiona.
The design's terrible for all the characters, except the daughter, I guess, but
Donkey looked all right.
they messed up the way his hair is, like his fur.
Yeah, but like Donkey's design is literally just a donkey. I don't think there's a wrong way to do
They
it.
still kind of fucked it up. His eyes look weird. The way he talks looks weird.
It does look weirder than it did, but it is still just a donkey, so I think of the offenders, Donkey is definitely the one that gets a pass because it's literally just a donkey and it looks literally like just a donkey. Whereas the ogres are in a weird, like, it's not quite Uncanny Valley because it's like Uncanny Valley between like Shrek animated Gmod memes and the actual movie, you know?
Yeah.
You know what really pisses me off?
What?
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish came out last year, and they successfully replicated the art style of the original Puss in Boots movie, as well as the old Shrek movies.
And that shit was fire.
It looked
Absolutely
great.
fire.
It looked like how you remember the old Shrek movies looking, because some of it hasn't aged super well. Like, they still look immaculate. They have a great art
It's
style
like they
to them.
updated it without absolutely butchering the way the characters were intended to be seen.
Exactly. And it's so irksome because in the intro to Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, DreamWorks has a sort of MCU lineup where the guy on the moon with the fishing pole is sort of like panning around to all the DreamWorks movies of like years past with some fresh animation on them.
Uh-huh.
And Shrek looks good in it. He looks like Shrek still. But with this new film, they just chose to absolutely butcher the aesthetics and give us a weird Play-Doh face avocado
Mushy
head
piece
shape.
of shit.
Ugh, it's so gross.
It's just brother,
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 What is that?
with the shigma.
No, it's more like they literally just put Shrek into an AI generator. Like, that's honestly what it looks like.
That's what I'm leading
Like,
with. It looks like AI slop. Dude.
I had them side by side here, and it's like, yeah, this really just looks like either AI generation or a cheap Chinese ripoff.
Maybe they
Because
just
honestly,
cut
that's exactly what it
the
looks like
animating
too.
budget or something.
Like, always with those Chinese ripoffs, they're always in that uncanny valley of looking like the character, but obviously not the character.
The thing is, the animation looks cleaner than the first Shrek film, so I can't think that it's a lack of budget. I think they just threw money at it, and the animators wanted to change how they looked for some fucking reason.
Oh my
Or when
goodness.
they threw money at it, they said, give him a fresh, new look.
And this
Look,
is what we got.
Okay, I would rather take Shrek with a low taper fade. If they just gave him a low taper fade instead of this garbage, it
Shrek
would
has
have been so
always
much
been
better.
bald.
No, in Shrek 2, he has hair.
Yeah, when
Well,
he turns
when he
into,
turns
you know,
into the Prince Charming
handsome
version
man.
of
Yeah.
Shrek, or Handsome Shrek.
I need a, you know how Shrek reacts to that by looking into the puddle and then screaming? I need someone to edit it.
So
Shrek
he's looking
looks
at
into
his
the puddle.
AI version.
It's the new Shrek from Shrek 5, and he just screams and destroys the fucking puddle.
That might already exist at this point.
I hope it does.
We can look after recording.
We'll have to dig around for Shrek 5 memes. Also, did Shrek need another movie?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm glad we're in agreement.
But unfortunately, they hinted at it with the Puss in Boots Last Wish movie.
Yeah, they hinted Puss in Boots would try to find out what Shrek was doing, but that movie looked good and was good. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I was hoping for something good to come out.
Like a Shrek 5 would be cool if it was made well.
Yeah, I think
You
the
know?
reason Shrek 1 is so iconic is it's, like, irreverent and very fun to watch. And Shrek 2 is just, like, such an upgrade from Shrek 1. It's, like, the perfect doubling energy you get from sequels, where the second one is supposed to be
It
twice as
expands
good.
on the world building. You've
Yeah.
got
And it actually
twice
is twice
the
as
characters,
That's right.
essentially. It's great.
And then they dropped the ball with Shrek 3, and Forever After was a good film. It was written pretty well. But, like, it didn't feel like it super needed to exist, but at least it was a satisfying ending to Shrek's story.
Yeah.
And then they came out with the Puss in Boots movie, the first one, which was alright. Nothing bad. It was okay. There were some good scenes.
It was
there
pretty
were some...
alright. A bit too memey, but, like, not to the degree of, like, the
first
teaser
one?
we just watched. Yeah, the first Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
Like,
but-
with the cat that goes, oh, they pulled that shit, like,
Oh.
4
Yeah.
times. Dude.
Yeah. Okay, that's
yeah,
fair.
there's some issues you could take with it, but it was overall not bad. And then Puss in Boots 2 came out, The Last Wish, and it's like, whoa, that movie was great. Fucking, I love that movie. Best depiction of death in a movie, period. I'll stand by it.
It was just very cool.
It was just a very good movie. And then, oh man, now we're getting this, right?
It's like, ew.
Like, they made the Puss in Boots spin-off things because they didn't want to make any more Shrek movies. But now that we get Shrek 5,
the difference is so staggering. It's not even funny, dude.
It's disgusting. Like, I don't know. I'll stand by this. I'm going to say this with my full chest, and I will stand by this. All right? If Shrek, the first movie, the first Shrek came out, and Fiona in an ogre looked like that, and Shrek looked like that, the movie would have bombed. People would have not been able to empathize with the characters, and they would have not liked Shrek.
That's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
It's one I'd believe in, though.
Everything
They're
else in the
ugly
movie
as
stayed
shit,
the same.
dude.
Everything else stays the same, but the characters look like that. I don't think the movie would have worked. I think people would joke about watching it on acid sometimes, and some people would talk about how the writing in it was okay, but the aesthetics just kind of flopped, and it would be an obscure film from the early 2000s that nobody really talked about, except in those contexts. I think the movie would have bombed. I don't think it would have been popular. I don't think it would have gotten mass market appeal. I don't think it would have become an internet meme phenomena. I just think that the movie would have bombed because the character designs are so atrocious that it would have been impossible to empathize with them.
Let's give it one good thing. It comes out in literally almost 2 years. Maybe they'll have some time to reanimate and pedal back. Like the Sonic thing.
Oh, there's
Maybe-
already a thing online about bullying them like they did Sonic.
Like,
Like,
maybe
people are
that'll
already
work
saying
and
that
they'll
it needs the
rehash
Sonic
it.
treatment.
And then it gets good again. Like, they have the time to do that. It's not like the Minecraft movie where it's coming out within the next month. They have time.
That is an awesome segue you're writing. I do want you to step off of it for a separate side topic I wanted to talk about. Because you said Sonic 2, like the Sonic treatment for the Shrek 5 movie.
Yep.
If they do that, my conspiracy is that Shrek 5 is going to be a not great movie, but it's going to get good reviews because
They listen to the audience.
because they made a bad looking trailer knowing the audience would be angry about it, and then they listened to them. I don't think if a good looking cut of Shrek 5 comes out in 2 years, I don't think a bad-looking cut ever existed. I think that this was a marketing stunt, if that's what happens.
And it's just a teaser.
I
at the
hope
same time.
that it is just a marketing stunt, because if that is what Shrek looks like now, we're in the wrong timeline, boys.
I honestly think that you actually bring up a really good point. I think that this is a marketing stunt because of how popular Shrek is, and even if this wasn't, I feel like it's going to end up becoming that, because people aren't going to. Well, Shrek is already looking horrible, and they're going to backpedal. I have a feeling they will backpedal.
Mewing.
No,
It's wild
No, they're
because
not.
I've seen meme shit posts where Shrek looks better, and he has a Geralt scar and is fighting Waluigi for the last N-word pass.
That lore goes so hard. It's probably got
in
better
the
plot
rain.
than the actual movie that's going to come out.
and then Carl from Jimmy Neutron shows up in the background.
There's also Master Oogway. He died pretty early on, though.
I don't know anything about those memes. I just know Shrek looks better in them than he does in his own fucking trailer.
Oh.
We're in the wrong timeline.
I'm sorry, I completely went off track.
Dude, COVID
also,
opened
not only,
the multiverse
not only do I think
portal.
they'll go back to the original art style, I think I already know the plot.
Oh, shit, do you?
So I was browsing the memes,
Mm-hmm.
and someone brought up this really good point. Like, they think that the plot is going to be that the daughter finds out that Fiona was
She's
human.
adopted.
No,
Damn it.
and she's going to attempt to find a way to become human, to look better than an ogre. I have a feeling she's going to find somebody, and they said it's a possible resurrection of the fairy godmother. And
Dude, oh my god.
If they bring the
Oh
fairy
my God!
godmother back, I'll be
the fuck
so
up.
upset.
That would be terrible. She should stay dead because she died in like the coolest way possible.
she turned into bubbles.
Yeah, but it was just thematic. It was cool. Bring her back for a shitty ass overdone. Oh my god.
Also, Shrek is about self-acceptance, right? Like, Fiona staying as an ogre wasn't her
Well,
changing for Shrek's
But
benefit.
the thing
it was
is,
her learning to accept
at the
herself.
end of the movie, it's going to turn into that self-acceptance, kind of like the first one was.
So it's gonna be a duplication of the second one.
It's gonna.
Maybe.
It's gonna be
This is,
basically.
this is just a personal headcanon.
Are
This is
you
nowhere-
saying your thoughts for Shrek 5 is it's going to be a movie primarily following Shrek's daughter doing the plot of the first movie while Shrek is relegated to a side character in his own
Yes.
fucking
Yes.
movie?
Yes.
I swear to fuck if they do that,
You're gonna do what?
I don't know, but it'll be
She's
mildly
going-
irrational and probably wrong.
No, because what's going to happen is she's going to run
Does it
off.
have anything to do with Best
find
Buy?
with whoever the
No.
whoever the main antagonist is, and
Reference.
Shrek and Donkey are going to have to go after her, with maybe Fiona tagging along, if she doesn't bite them first.
Kid named Finger.
Fiona does look like she'd bite someone.
Now I understand that they're supposed to be slightly aged up because their kid is now an borderline teenager / adult.
Well,
I guess.
hold on. Shrek had like
Triplet. He had triplets.
Yeah, where are the other?
Yeah,
two?
where are the other kids? I swear, if the other kids are side characters, then it's just Shrek's kid is Zendaya now. I'm going to be pissed.
What if they turn into like a D&D adventuring party? What if it's like the 3 kids and they have to, I don't know, fulfill some sort of quest?
I still don't like that it's called Shrek then.
Because Shrek isn't like one of the main characters.
If that had to exist, I'd want it to be a mini-series following the
Like Puss in
adventures of
Boots.
Shrek's kids.
like Puss in Boots, but it's instead following the kids.
No.
And it's based around them.
Puss in Boots are movies. A mini-series, like a 10-episode series.
Oh, okay.
10 episode, 45 minutes an episode, Shrek's kids are going on a wild adventure. You could call it like Ogre Trails or something.
Okay, so you're essentially talking about like a mini Netflix series.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not terrible.
It'd
It'd be kind of neat.
It would be... It would...
I mean, kind of like
It'd be something.
Those
Yeah.
I don't remember the Puss in Boots one where he had like the 3
Dude,
kittens.
remember Kung Fu
I don't
Panda
know.
Legends
I don't
of
know, they're
Awesomeness?
Oh,
You remember
I
those
remember
on
watching
Nick?
that on
Dude,
TV.
I would watch those on Nick. That shit went hard. I'm thinking like that. But that animation was terrible, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was fun to watch as a kid.
It was
but the
close
animation was
to the
dog
original. It's better than the Rapunzel series versus
Oh,
the
yeah.
original movie. It's not like they heavily changed the art style. They just
They had to dumb it down.
It had to be cheapened because it's a TV
It was
series.
a TV series.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of what happens whenever you have a good movie with post-processing, processing, and animation versus a TV series which has to pump out episodes episode by episode. I'm sorry. Continue.
I do have an objection I'd like to make.
Objection, Your Honor!
And that is, I don't think Shrek 5
Phoenix
should
Wright.
exist. My main thing is, like, Netflix recently bought Disney recently bought DreamWorks, right? And since they bought
The
DreamWorks,
conglomeration.
How to Train Your Dragon live action is coming out.
Dude, we have to
Um,
talk about that a little bit.
Shrek 5 is coming out.
We might actually hit 5
Like-
instead of 3.
Like, Disney is losing money on doing reboots, reskins of old movies.
And live
need to
action.
reskin the
live
dragon.
action.
Oh!
Did you say they don't need to skin the dragon?
Reskin the dragon.
Oh.
How to Train Your Dragon did not
Don't
need
skin
a
the dragon.
A
reboot.
shot-for-shot remake.
It looked good enough. It's aged pretty well.
It's like such a beautiful movie. I love that movie.
It
Is
doesn't matter.
Like,
It came out in 2010. It's fucking absolutely marvelous to look
it's
at.
in my top 10 movies. It's such a beautiful movie. I love that movie so much, and the fact that they're making a live action of it
just-
actually hurts my
It
soul.
pisses me off. God, I fucking hate live
And
action
even though
reboots.
it looks good, and it looks like it's going to follow the source material mildly well, I still don't think it should exist.
It's unnecessary.
It's
They're
going to
selling the
happen
same
exactly
fucking product
like
to
The
people.
Lion King
It's just
did.
now they've
It'll
got.
follow the source material
my
to the
God.
most part.
I'm gonna start
They'll add a
crashing
few
out.
things new, but it's just going to be
sweating.
live action, basically just slop.
You've awakened such
Live action
physical
slop.
anger within myself.
I want to coin that new term, live action slop.
That's not a new term. People have been saying that
for
term
the
for
last fucking decade.
No, but
Yeah.
using that term.
Like, didn't The Lion King come out in like 2018, something like that? The reboot.
I'm sure if you go back to 2015, there was an unwanted Disney reboot or remake of something.
God, oh my God.
Anyway, you were on that segue, or that minecart to the Minecraft movie trailer.
Number 2.
They released another trailer, huh?
They did.
Another
We're going
trailer.
back into the mines, baby.
No,
The salt mines.
we're going back to the overworld, boys.
Actually, we're not, because they go into the nether in
Well,
this one. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
but
kind
it's
of
the
in
new
world.
Nether.
Ew, they got
It's-
piglins everywhere and shit. Why couldn't they just, like, I don't know, use a better narrative point, like the Wither or something cool? The ancient civilizations that are hinted at.
It is weird that the narrative point they went with is piglins are invading from the Nether. Also,
It's just lame
If
and generic.
Steve replaced like a fallen like piece of obsidian and then he lit the portal, fucking you can break a portal too, right? Like, just the girl is seen with a diamond sword in the trailer. Why doesn't he just break the fucking portal? They're seen with TNT in the trailer. Why doesn't he
Because
just break the fucking portal?
Shitty ass plot. Shitty ass plot. They gotta sell it. Don't matter.
Also, it's based on movie logic, right? Not Minecraft logic. They're using a lot of Minecraft's internal logic in the trailer, but they could just literally use any solution to break the portal apart, right?
Why couldn't, like, hear me out. Why couldn't instead they, like, activate the portal and then find out they've been opening portals across the overworld elsewhere? Like, far away. So that way, it at least kind of makes sense why they haven't encountered them, but they're also pouring in, and now they have multiple portals to deal with, so even though it's an issue they can deal with, they can't deal with it right away.
I also just kind of hate the aesthetics. It looks like a gross movie.
Again, they don't need a photorealistic Minecraft. If it was just animated in the Minecraft style with all the same voice actors but not live action, they would have been takeable.
Well,
like the plot would have sucked with the piglins. Yes.
We specifically brought this up back in episode 14 when the teaser first came out. The photorealism's completely unnecessary, and they only expanded on it by making it worse because we get to see the funny villagers and all their wrinkly brown glory.
Dear God, the
You're
villager.
so goddamn ugly.
Oh, And then
Holy shit.
So I saw a post about this online on insert website I forgot here, .org of course, and the post was, it feels weird because Minecraft, you're suspending your disbelief in order to engage with it. So you imagine that when you're on a crafting table and you're putting 3 iron in a row and then the sticks, that you're making a pickaxe, right?
Correct.
But you don't literally think in the Minecraft world, if you put 3 iron bars side by side with the sticks, you'd make a pickaxe. You understand that that's shorthand for your character creating a pickaxe in that world. So it feels jarring to see them literally make things that way in a movie about Minecraft, you know?
Yeah, it's like implied.
Right.
But like realistically the process takes longer. It's just the game functions differently.
Right. It's like things don't literally turn into floating blocks when you break them apart in Minecraft. It's just shorthand for you harvesting materials from a block you broke. You know, it's like, it's jarring to see video game logic being depicted in real life, even though the video game logic exists so that Minecraft can be played, not to literally express that this is how the mechanics of the Minecraft MCU functions.
I don't get why they'd even need to illustrate it. It's fucking Minecraft. Like, if that's the selling point, everyone that's played Minecraft knows how Minecraft works. Yeah. Why would we care about seeing them in the movie?
Again, they could have...
The creepers are fuzzy.
The creepers are fuzzy.
I've always pictured creepers as fuzzy. You guys both objected to this before we started recording. And I don't really get that. I've always pictured creepers as like these fuzzy, like, moss creatures, you know?
I've seen them as, like, lizards.
Really?
Yeah.
You imagine them as
like
scalies?
A chameleon.
I think they're scalies too. That, or they're just like big, fleshy, veiny amalgamations on 4 legs. Like an aberrant act against man flesh.
I mean, yeah.
I always pictured them as like a mossy, like, plant material, you know?
A mossy plant material?
Yeah, like, I always thought there was something carrying TNT in, like, a ghillie suit. That was how I imagined creepers. Like,
the problem
either
is
they were made of plants or they were wearing, like, a cloak of plants.
My issue with it is, like, their pixelation and their coloring is too bright for me to think that, because when you compare them to, like, the grass around them, they don't really blend in. You know what I mean? Like, they're green, but they don't blend in enough. They're too, like, bright.
Yeah.
I just think they're, like, scaly dudes. I don't actually think they're fleshy.
That's because the grass has dried out because they've been wearing it so long.
Yeah, but wouldn't it turn, like, yellow and die?
Some grass turns lighter as it dries out.
I can kind of see that, but why is it so consistent, then?
I mean, listen.
I think they're just scaly
because
boys.
The texture... Because it's a fucking video game, and because they can't have different textures for the age of the fucking creepers.
Fuck it, I'll video your game.
Anyway, back to the trailer.
This is trailing on.
So we found out we found out the plot of the Minecraft movie. We've learned some more about the characters, I guess.
The characters warp in. Steve goes, "Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jack Black." And then he just gives them a bunch of shit, teaches them how to craft. And then the piglins invade. He's like, "Oh shit, a rat!" And then I don't know. They go on, you know, they have some shenanigans.
I think the cringiest line in the trailer has got to be, "We've got to be creative to survive." It's just like such a nothing reference line. I fucking hate it.
Herobrine? I like that name. It carries the same energy.
It really does.
It's so fucking cringe, dude.
Man. It's sad, too, because, like, I feel like Minecraft is the best-selling video game of all time.
It deserves better.
Well, with just a little artistry, you could make a movie that captures the feeling of Minecraft, right?
People are already trying to do that, like small-time creators.
Yeah. But, like, they're not interested in that. They want to make the next Sonic movie, so they're just trying to have, like, a ton of, like, references and zoomer humor just like crammed into a plot that
But
has to deal with like piglins and shit.
It doesn't quite work because Minecraft doesn't follow that kind of medium. It makes sense with Sonic because Sonic
Sonic's character.
Yeah.
Like Sonic,
Like, it makes sense that Sonic would relate with those kinds of things and make those kinds of jokes because he's, like a sort of...
Scatterbrain.
Yeah.
it captures the energy of the games too, because the games have always been kind of full of like self-referential humor and like very fast-paced, kind of cringy if you look at it too much, but there's so many of them. Like, that's just how Sonic functions, right? But
It's the essence of the IP.
But the essence of Minecraft is like solitary exploration and building, right?
And
Like-
we've got a bunch of live cast dudes together, and they're just having a chipper time making some jokes and, haphazardly making items, and then they gotta... Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's no aloneness.
Yeah.
Isolation.
Yeah, it's bad. Also, it feels weird watching the like actual people walk in the Minecraft stuff.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about how the scaling is completely off on blocks versus height.
Yeah, I mean,
And villagers versus the blocks.
That's
and
another
animals
thing.
versus the blocks.
There was no TNT at the end of that redstone.
that's another thing. They make a big deal out of like referencing the mechanics of the video games, but then they don't follow the mechanics of the video games, right? They're like, okay, here's a reference. I'm gonna dump a bucket of water before we land, and then we're gonna be fine. And then, because that's how it works in Minecraft, so it's a Minecraft thing.
Yeah.
But then the bucket of water creates more water in different directions than it would in Minecraft. And then in a later scene,
Because it's realistic.
where they're jumping off a cliff with fucking wings on, there's water at the end of the cliff, so it wouldn't matter if the wings didn't work anyway.
I can't believe I'm doing this, but to defend that scene, Steve, or Jack Black, whatever, he's more Jack Black than Steve, jumps off without wings. He just jumps into the fucking water. I mean, he doesn't make contact. They never show that. But it's... You could presume he's jumping into the water. Why the fuck he gave them elytras? I don't know. Also, he didn't give them fireworks. If they're really trying to keep up with the whole referential shit, why not give them fireworks too? Because if you're fucking Steve and you're apparently, everything about the Minecraft world ever, then, like, you would just give them fireworks so they could fly away with the elytra.
Also, I hate to ask these questions because these are questions that shouldn't have answers, but the movie's asking them, so I'm going to ask them. Why the fuck aren't there female villagers? Where are their hands?
Together.
I've got something
sleeves.
entirely fucking plot-breaking. Those elytras carry a lot more weight than you think, because you know how you get them? You go to the end. More specifically, you have to beat the Ender Dragon.
Which means Jack
Which opens
Black
up the mini
needed
portals.
to explore the Nether.
Yes, because he had to get fucking blaze powder for the Eyes of Ender. He had to throw, because when you kill the Ender Dragon, it opens up these little like bedrock nodes that have these mini portals in them. You throw an Ender Pearl into it, or you like make a contraption so you can like swim into it. You just really throw an Ender Pearl in, but it warps you to these outer cities. And in those cities, sometimes there's these floating ships, and at the bottom of those ships are item frames with elytras in. That is the only way you can get them in the game. They are not renewable. That is literally the only way you get them. You have to kill the Ender Dragon, and then you have to get into the outer realms of the end.
Right. Which is wild, because that means that Jack Black has explored the Nether and gotten blaze powder.
So now he's lying to them. He secretly has already been to the Nether. And better yet, he went to the Nether and made a deal with the piglins to allow them to invade. Ah! Okay, I'm tired of trying to defend this fucking movie. It sucks.
I hate it. I hate basically every movie that's come out recently.
It's like trying to stick to the like material and also stray as far away from it as possible.
Speaking of which, let's talk about Snow White.
What about her?
It's March. Like, most of snow's gone.
No, the movie, the Disney remake that's coming out.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that. Can we talk about snow instead? I don't like snow, but I'd rather talk about it. I'd rather talk about how snow is white than Snow White.
No,
Fucking-
I don't want to talk about that one.
But it's on the list.
I
Dude,
don't care.
okay, but the second dwarf from the left is mewing.
Do you know? Do you know the fucking like controversy that went around those things?
The dwarves? You call them things? They're more than that.
No,
You
no,
fucking racist.
no. I'm calling.
You sound
them
like Kanye
things,
right now.
I'm calling them things for a very specific reason.
Yes, because they
okay?
look terrible.
No,
They're
no.
CGI.
It's not even that. It's not even that.
What are you getting at, bro?
So originally, they were going to cast actual little people to play them, but then Peter Dinklage came out. You know, he's the most professional little person in Hollywood right now, and he said that roles like dwarves are offensive, and discriminatory. So instead, they decided to make them magical people, and they were like a cast of characters that they had decided to put in the film, and there was some promotional material released where they were just random ass dudes.
That's
yeah, I
absolutely
remember
awesome.
that.
Wow, dwarves are racist now.
And then there was so much backlash behind the magical people thing that they had to go back into the movie, edit out the magical people, and put in the shitty CGI versions of the 7 dwarfs we know from the original film.
I mean, to be fair, it is all just CGI anyway.
What if they
so
just-
No,
had
they
to
were originally
delete-
actors. They
I
had
know,
like a cast.
but the thing is, they were just on a green screen. All they have to do is just delete that section of film.
That's so fucking soulless.
What if they just stopped caring
That's just how
about
movies
people's
are
shallow
nowadays.
hate opinions?
I
Ever
don't
since
want
they
them to...
abandoned 2D animation, everything's been soulless.
That's not fair because the first Shrek movie had soul, and so did the second one.
Yeah, but that was still during the 2D animations era.
I kind of get not being, too extremist, but at the same time, like, dwarves have been established in, like, fantasy and writing in general for, like, literally hundreds of years.
It's weird.
Actually, farther than that.
Yeah, it's weird that, like, Peter Dinklage has so much sway over, like, what's considered to be offensive. I do think casting, like, just 7 random little people who happen to be actors would be a little out of touch and kind of weird. That does feel very, like, freak show circus kind of stuff, you know?
Maybe.
There's got to be, like, a better solution than this. Like, dude, I have this great idea. What if instead of hiring a bunch of, like, random dudes to just make some CGI movie magic over these, like, physical actors, we instead found a bunch of, like, artists online, like 2D artists, like the kinds that are drawing furry stuff right now, and we asked...
I can't make it by with the regular stuff.
We asked them to draw, like, a bunch of, like, beautiful pictures, and we, like, lined those pictures up, like, one at a time to make, like, a feature film out of these, like, 2D images. And then we wouldn't have to worry about if it's offensive to cast little people or not.
You're just talking about a 2D animated film.
Because we'd have a 2D animated
Because it's
film and it'd
completely
be
fucking
fucking
unnecessary.
fine.
It's completely
You're
fucking
literally just
unnecessary.
describing 2D animation.
The flesh rides.
Reject modernity,
Return.
embrace 2D animation.
Return to paper.
Return to paper.
Return to paper.
Seriously.
Same thing goes for the... Oh my god. I'm just so burnt out on movies, dude. Just movies as of recent.
Yeah.
Because there's not a single good one.
Maybe there
Puss
will
in
be.
Boots.
We're still going to have to subject ourselves to that movie, though. Aren't
Is there
we?
going to be a single good movie that comes out this year?
It doesn't feel like it now, but I promise there probably will be. Maybe.
We just got to let the corporations
No,
rot away
no.
enough.
There was one good one.
Uh,
Sonic.
That wasn't this year.
yeah, that wasn't this year. That was
oh, yeah.
last year, you stinky.
But we went and saw
Hey,
it
the
this
new
year,
Captain America movie came out. That was...
though. Oh,
You know, that movie was reshot so many fucking times that its budget is probably triple whatever they're reporting to their taxes.
That's awesome.
There are entire actors who got cut from the script.
that doesn't
Tax
surprise
fraud
me.
motherfuckers be like, yeah.
And it's still getting one of the worst scores for a Marvel movie. This side of the Mississippi.
People are really sick of it. I want something new and original to come out. I don't want another video game adaptation. I don't want another reboot or reskin. And I don't want another sequel to a franchise that had a satisfying ending.
You see, there's an issue with that request.
What's that?
You have to be original. These companies have to be original.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that.
Why not?
They will.
They have the best creative minds on the planet on retainer, and the best they can give us is Snow White with shitty CGI.
They will fight tooth and nail
dude.
to not be original at this point. They will literally just do what they want, how they want, and it doesn't matter if it fails. It doesn't.
They're gonna run out of money eventually. Fucking Disney Plus isn't profitable right now. They had to bundle it with Max to please shareholders.
And that's gonna run out eventually too, dog.
That is too funny. Man. Again, reject modernity. Buy physical copies. I still have my original VHS of Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
I'm looking at it right now, Spence. It's in the background of our fucking set. I'm looking at it right now.
I love
it's
that
right
movie
there,
so
dog.
goddamn much. Oh, it's beautiful.
This is a tangent we could definitely go on, but like physical copies of just media in general. Maybe we should save that for a different episode.
That's a good topic for later.
I
We'll
like
save
it.
that one.
I
We'll
like
back pocket that one.
Back pocket that.
I'll actually back pocket that as we segue on to our newest topic here.
This segue was generated by an AI chatbot, and it said, "Ooh,
Shrek.
Ooh, let's come to this new topic."
How did it spell come?
Beep boop.
That's not important. All right, Trevor, you wanted to talk about AI chatbots. I have no experience in this genre of entertainment.
Look, I'd
Air
like to
quotes?
preface this by saying people since COVID have been more isolated than I think they have in the past 20, 30 years, maybe. This specific issue only... what?
I'm sorry, but I was trying to write in physical, and the first autocorrect word was Phyrexian.
You fucking dork.
You're a fucking nerd.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This only exacerbates the issue.
Okay, I take umbrage with the idea that people were less socialized in the 90s than they are now.
Maybe, but
Okay.
they'd like go out and actively speak to each other.
They're more socialized. You said in 20, 30 years. I think the further back in time you go,
The more
social
social people were.
Yeah, like
But-
this is probably the most isolated time in history.
But we're reaching a new precipice with AI chatbots. We're talking about AI-generated dialogue, not for constructive things, like maybe therapy, which does exist. There are active therapy AI bots designed by, like, clinics to help people. And the intent there, although it's, like, really weird, it does mean they can serve more people. So I don't see that being a bad thing exactly.
I feel like that would be more depressing.
It kind of is. Like, I watched a 60-minute video about it. The series is called 60 Minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And they spoke on about it being very helpful in essentially broadening the range of people that they can assist. But, like, at the same time, I feel like if you are in need of therapy and someone to value the things you have to say, the last thing that would help would be some AI that doesn't even quite process your emotions. Like, they process them through mathematics and qualitative data rather than actual
Like I said in the
feelings.
previous episode, a glorified Python code of if-then, judging and validating your
probably-
depression.
That and people who aren't therapists actively want to be therapists, and we should work on connecting those people with the education they need to become therapists. I think AI should take all the jobs. All the jobs should go to AI. All the jobs people don't want anyway, right? People want to be therapists. We should not have robot therapists, right? People want to be musicians. We should not have robot musicians. People want to be artists. We should not have robot
Look,
art.
innately, I think it falls flat of what it's trying to do because it's literally a bot and it can't feel emotion, therefore it can't sort of tie to you in the same human way that a physical human therapist can. But at the very least, it's trying to do something helpful, right?
But
right.
the thing is, if you attempt to try to do something helpful, but it ends up not being helpful, it could end up being detrimental rather than being helpful. Despite how many more people it can reach, it could be even more detrimental to those extra people that it can reach versus a actual therapist.
I mean, true. The AI has to build on itself. It makes mistakes at certain points, and that's a really bad thing. But people also make mistakes. Maybe not in the same exact way, but like things like that happen. I understand there's the one where like that one AI bot said like please die or something.
No, there was one where it said many Redditors suggest that you jump off a bridge.
Yeah, okay, so like in occasional situations they aren't helpful, but like they're for the most part, 99.9% of them are at least being somewhat effective in the thing they're trying to accomplish. Maybe they're at least delivering the way they intend to.
And again, I beg to differ though, because like I said, like I brought up that part where the AI bot said to jump off a bridge. They're not being helpful. They're being
maybe
detrimental.
not to that person,
but they could be more. They could be that detrimental to more people though.
Spence.
More than just the single.
Spence.
Yes.
If you put 1,000 people in 1,000 separate self-driving cars and one of them drives off a cliff, does that mean the other 999 are doomed to die?
No, but how
it
many
means
more of those
you
other...
should shut down the other 999 because one person, without their consent, was driven off a fucking cliff.
Yes, they keep improving on it. Shit like that happens, and
But
it ends up being in smaller and smaller and smaller groups.
But it shouldn't be sent out into the public until it can be proven that it will not and cannot be detrimental.
There are cars that get put out on the market that are rated 5 out of 5 stars in terms of safety and security, and then they have small issues and recalls like catastrophic failures in the engine.
How is that a
Toyota
small
Tundras
issue?
with their debris in the fucking engine block.
They call it a small issue for insurance reasons. The thing is,
unscheduled rapid disassembly.
There is a human who's actively inputting into the vehicle when those catastrophic failures happen, and you have the potential to save your own life. Like, if there's just a self-driving car and you're taking a nap while it's driving you to work, and it decides it'd be funny if it ran a red light.
It would be funny, though.
Like, there's nothing you could have done other than, I guess, be awake and hit the emergency brake.
I mean, yeah.
Like, there's less human input in the lives that died there. And that's what I think people take umbrage with. Not that the self-driving cars have flaws, but that those flaws happen without human input, and that makes it dangerous from a, like, robotics and engineering perspective.
Initially, I wasn't going to go this deep about the therapy bots. I just thought it was something to bring up to sort of remind everyone that there's at least some sort of constructive, positive things coming out of AI bots. I wanted to pivot over to... Have you seen the YouTube ads with, like, these things like, say... I can't name any companies because we can't do that on this podcast, but, like, you'll see these ads for, like, me when I engage with my AI girlfriend on insert website or application, and she shows me her pussy and ass.
What kind of websites are you going to? Because those ads are usually targeted.
Let's just say I'm a bit freaky. But, like, people en masse are making use of not just, like, the horny bots, but, like, just these general chat bots. And it's very concerning that they're developing relations. Whether platonic or, in some cases, technically non-platonic. I think it's definitely a step in the wrong direction by a wide margin.
Yeah,
and it's really concerning to see.
The more technology continually evolves, the less interaction that people will have. It's just been a constant like you've been saying earlier, it's been a constant downgrade since like the 70s. Ever since the major digital technological boom, we have been more connected as a species across the globe than ever we were before. And yet, for some reason, we are more disconnected. Because we have the ability to connect with other people across the world from the safety of our chair in our home versus actually going out and connecting with people.
The thing is, they're not connecting with real people. They're connecting with chatbots. I guess, so my thing is, for the horny bots, what's the fundamental difference between that and just like a hentai addiction?
One,
That's
you
actually a
can
good
kind
point.
of ask for whatever you specifically want. Like, you could literally ask for anything and it'll change on the spot, which can be very dangerous because it can lead people down a path of developing really weird and potentially dangerous fetishes
To be fair,
at an accelerated rate that's faster than just browsing Hentai Haven or something of the sorts.
the
Wasn't
issue
that just you naming a specific company?
Bentai Baven.
Okay, but to counterpoint here, at this point in time,
No, keep going. I did because I said Hentai Haven.
He's
You wanted
not
to cut
actually
that
gonna
out?
edit hentai Haven
Oh, that's
out.
fine,
He's
no.
just gonna edit.
Okay.
Continue, Spence.
I don't even know where I was. Oh, so on the other side of the coin, there is, at this point in time, there's become such a collection of random shit in hentai, for the other side of the argument, that these requests that you can give to the chatbots, you can probably still find at least one or maybe 10 different other mangas or...
Right, but it's specifically catered to you.
But the thing is, you can be specifically catered to on these other websites as well.
Yeah, it doesn't feel any worse as just like a gooner mentality kind of thing. It doesn't feel any worse than the porn we already have. What does feel
You could
worse,
develop relations through it, though.
That's the
That's
sketchy
the
part
point I'm
to me.
trying to specifically make. It's dangerous. Through and through. It's mind-altering, not because of the porn thing, not specifically, but because it makes you think you can just date the thing on your phone, and it's only going to isolate people through that sort of method even more. It's going to turn people that are already socially awkward because of things like, the lockdown, the dreaded lockdown of 2020, along with a bunch of other variable factors like advancements in technology leading to even faster access to, the internet, reaching out to people just from your home or at work.
Yeah, I do think it will mostly be bad for society that there are people who are very lonely and getting attached to internet chatbots.
It takes advantage of people that are actively feeling lonely, and we're kind of facing a bit of a, dating crisis right now. I mean,
not a bit. We are on the negatives of reproduction.
We're getting a little edgy political, but yeah, there's a bit of a loneliness crisis going on.
Well, it's not really. I wouldn't call that political. We are literally there are many countries that are growing negative.
To play devil's advocate, some people do not think that's a bad thing because of the population of the world being too high anyway, and global warming and yada yada yada.
Growth, decline, yada yada, political stuff.
Political.
We are not political.
I'm not going to go into.
There are several political takes in relation to the dating crisis, and there are some rather disgusting individuals on both sides acting, so it becomes a controversial topic. The thing is, it is an apolitical take to say that, hey, people are lonelier now.
People don't just go out to the bar and just ask people out, or go to the diner and ask the lovely waiter out. They're on apps like
There are reasons for that, though.
Like Tumble.
Tumblr's a real website. Buddy.
I said Tumble. That's different.
Yeah, I get that one.
And they're just matching with people that are just like lying or catfishing, and it's just like you fall into this vicious cycle that now there's this option of just talking to your perfect significant other, but they don't exist. They're just an AI chatbot. Like it just seems bad. You know what I mean? It's like a mouse barreling into a house and realizing all the food is poisonous to them, and then they look in the corner and there's a single piece of cheese that's not poisonous, and there's a mouse trap. It's like the choice is deal with the food and stomach it, or fall for the trap.
I guess it's like this, right?
Are you saying that chatbots are traps?
Some of them are.
Which makes them
Depends
gay.
on what you're into.
Which makes
Like
them
lower
gay.
lip.
I guess it's like this, right? I think AI chatbots are probably exacerbating an issue that already existed, but I don't think it's that big a deal. And I'll tell you why.
All right. Throw it at me.
Let's hear it.
but don't really,
We do not have Android sex bots yet.
Dude, that one post said that women would have sex bots by 2025.
Why specifically women? First of all, I'm not interested in
I don't know, was that one random funny post?
You're not interested in women?
It was
What
that
is
one
gay?
funny...
No. I'm not interested in sex bots.
There was
I don't
this
want a
one.
sex bot.
There was this one funny post with this really shitty image of like this like dude bot, and he's got like a woman in his arms, and it was like a meme to the fuck out of. Like the second the clock rolled around to 2025, everyone was like, "All right, where's my sex robot? Where's my sex robot?"
No,
And they send out a bunch of like angry emails to Amazon and such, like, "Where's my sex bot?"
I do
No,
think
that
the
reminds me
birth
of
rates
the
will probably crash, and like the loneliness epidemic will go way up. The second you can put the personality of an AI chatbot in like a sex doll that talks to you,
Absolutely diabolical. Like, we're not there, but we're actively a step closer, and that's scary,
Like,
right?
it's
Honestly,
a little
it
bad,
is,
yeah.
It is scarily close.
Industrial
on how,
society and its
How close
consequences.
that is. Like, I feel like it's not far off. By how technology has advanced so far, like I wouldn't doubt within the next, I would say 2 years
2 years we're gonna get the sex bots?
minimum.
Friggin' epic, Lois. Oh, sweet. Man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. Yeah.
Like we're gonna go from fucking neckbeards having dockies, walking around with those, to giant robotic sex dolls. Anyway,
So, yeah.
moving on.
I feel like we are a step closer to a dystopian future where no one wants to fuck a real person or even get into a platonic relationship with a real person because all of the people that they know are in their phone.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but it is scary that we're going that direction. I still say that humans are always going to crave actual interaction more than the random AI shit.
Perhaps.
It's going to get to a point where it's going to be so common for AI that it's going to become mainstream.
We do have the
to
Tesla
do AI.
Cyberbots.
So
Those
then
are
you're
made
going
for
to get
like
the
production,
counterculture,
though.
which will actually interact with people.
The-
It'll actually become counterculture to interact with normal people.
Yeah, but what?
Okay, that's wrong. That's wrong. People have been saying the next generation's counterculture is going to be terminally offline. Like, the next punk movement is just disconnecting from
I'm
social
not saying
media.
that it's going to be
Hell
and
strictly
the next
offline.
and the next punk movement is always just moving on to a different social media app or organizing on the same
You know
social
what?
media
Instead
app.
of using Twitter, X, we're gonna use Omegle now. Fuck it, we ball.
Man, that's a blast from the past.
Because Omegle was cool back in the day.
I'm sure it was.
No,
Time to take your pills, Grandpa.
no, it was not. It still isn't.
God, it was scary. It was.
To be fair,
it
it's
was
taken
Dick
down now, I
Roulette.
believe.
Like
I don't remember. Didn't they take Omegle down last year?
they did at one point in time.
Because of too many, weird things.
Yeah, we're not. Well, we're not going to get into that. Let's not get into that.
Too many
That's-
AI chatbots showing their pussy and ass.
Nope. Quite
So
the opposite.
I wanted to talk about how crossovers are always bad. This
Great
episode is
segue.
very, very pessimistic. But my topic that I brought to the table is it's very simple. All right. So a little bit of background. I fancy myself as a creative writer when I'm at my peak hubris. I haven't completed a creative project other than writing a D&D supplement, and I would really like to someday. So I'm at peak hubris when I'm giving myself all the credit. I fancy myself as a creative writer. So I've been watching these courses that Brandon
Calm
Sanderson...
down, Icarus. Jeez.
Whoa, buddy. Whoa.
Well,
We got a future
Whoa.
author right here, baby. Whoa.
Probably not. I'm going to try, but probably not.
You're gonna be a bazillionaire.
I've been watching Brandon Sanderson's lectures every week.
Bless you.
And what he does is he talks about writing. If you didn't know, he's the biggest fantasy author of this generation, mostly because he's very consistent and very good at his work. Not necessarily because he has anything revolutionary. And he talked about how he oftentimes writes his stories based on an interesting premise. And one of his stories is like, okay, dystopian revolution, but it's a heist movie like Mission Impossible.
What?
There's a fantasy world, right?
Yeah.
It's a dystopian fantasy world with like an
heist
immortal
movie.
Dark Lord, right? And it's a heist movie.
Skynet.
Wait, so he just said cyberpunk.
It's fantasy, it's not sci-fi. So there's magic and not like guns, but like
Magical cyberpunk.
not exactly, but and that hit me. That is exactly why I hate crossovers so much. I think crossover events are always awful and bad because they kill the potential for stories like what Brandon Sanderson wrote with Mistborn, which is the story he was talking about there. Because Mistborn, I read the books. They're fucking amazing books. There are some flaws and some things to poke at, but they're pretty great stories, and that's coming from me, and I'm pretty overly critical of most stories. So when I say something's pretty good, it's a glowing endorsement, right? That's as close to positive as I can get when I talk about stories, because I like poking holes in them. And if, say, Mission Impossible crossed over with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, that kills the potential for Mistborn to exist. Because it's like, oh, you're just writing that. Why didn't you just use those characters from that property? And it really got me thinking. I'm pretty sure every crossover ever has been bad because it destroys the fidelity of the previous universes. It kind of breaks the world building of the universes that have to interact in order for the crossover to happen. And in addition to that, it kills the storyline of, like, deciding to write that as an original story.
Well, okay. So I'm going to put it simply like this. There's one big reason why crossovers are completely stupid. It's that they're completely unnecessary. You have characters in this universe, in the story that you have. Why not just, I don't know, keep writing around them or introduce new characters or new plot points? Why do you need to just take from another universe? That's the equivalent of just like selling out or just saying, I'm out of ideas. That's you tapping all your mana. That's you throwing your hand down. You're done. I'm lazy. You know what? We're going to throw this in.
And I got to thinking about it, because I think probably the best crossover movie that's come out that I can think of is, it's the newest Spider-Man film. I think it's No Way Home. But basically, all the Spider-Men show up in that film.
Right.
We have Andrew Garfield, and we have, what's the other one, Spence?
Tobey Maguire, obviously.
And Tom Holland.
Yep.
And they're all Spider-Men in that movie. And it's like this multiverse, like, coming together thing, right? They come back, they reprise their iconic roles, they have a buddy cop movie together. That's the movie. I think that is an awful movie. Because, yes, it was cool seeing all the Spider-Men from the past 20 years interacting on screen. Yes, it was cool that they technically made those universes canon to some
20 years?
misbegotten point in the technically 25 years, Spence. To some misbegotten point.
That's a blip in your lifespan.
Fuck off.
To some misbegotten point in the MCU. But that also killed the potential for a, like, Spider-Man movie where it's just, like, pulling Spider-Man from other universes, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we could have had multiple Spider-Man sidekicks that were original characters, but instead, we decided to make these other random movies canon to shake up and destroy the world building of 3 different cinematic universes, just so we could have this crossover event. There's never been a crossover, and there never will be a crossover that doesn't in some way catastrophically disrupt the world building and cohesion of every universe it's, like, interacted with, and doesn't kill the potential for stories where a character could exist in a niche that a crossover character has.
Counterpoint I should make. What about when they pussy out and they say it's not canon?
That's just lame. You've copped out by having a crossover event. That's you
what I'm
cashing
saying.
out,
But
and then you're copping out of that
Again.
cash out. That's double bad. Two wrongs do not make a right. That's why I hate the What If series that Marvel put out. That and the writing's awful in it.
well, yeah,
But like,
modern Marvel stuff. You know how it is.
I would like to counterpoint and say that there were a few good crossovers.
I will tear them apart if I'm familiar with them.
Absolute fucking.
And they all came from Disney Channel.
That's even worse, dog.
I'm gonna tear them apart in a single sentence. Disney Channel was trash.
Oh, but the Proud Family and Lilo and Stitch crossover, though. Or Kim Possible and Lilo and Stitch.
You're shitting on the Disney Channel, though? Okay, I get the crossovers. Crossovers are bad. Dude, Disney XD?
Disney XD was mid.
Shut the fuck up! Kick Butowski? Okay, that show was
shit
kind of mid, but... Look, okay,
I mean, Phineas and Ferb was good.
Phineas and Ferb
Phineas
was
and
good.
Ferb was so fucking...
You know what was awful?
Hmm.
Phineas and Ferb meets the MCU.
Yeah, that one was terrible.
Oh.
There was also that Metal Max... What was it called? Metal Max?
Oh,
it didn't,
yeah.
It didn't show for very
Max
long.
Steel or something.
Max Steel, yeah. That's what it was called.
So,
Sorry, off topic.
no, it's good. So I'm not familiar with the Lilo and Stitch crossovers, but I will say this, alright? The Lilo and Stitch, the first movie, and then the animated series that followed, and then the other movies, all together make up a pretty cohesive and fairly wholesome family story, right? And when you introduce Kim Possible, who is like some like high-tech spy into the universe where there is already a government agency with a high-tech spy who's an adult, not a preteen. It's destructive to the idea of what the story was trying to tell, you know? And also, on top of all of that, if there was actually potential for there to be a like spy thriller inside the Lilo and Stitch universe, they could have written a spy character to do that in the Lilo and Stitch universe without just throwing Kim Possible at it.
Kim Possible was on vacation.
Look, I'm being honest. I didn't watch this one.
I didn't either.
I'm
so
staying
was
out of
Proud
this
Family.
Family.
I
Dude, the Proud Family. Oh god, that was a good one.
The fuck is the Proud Family?
Dude, the Proud Family. That was
Shrug.
it was a TV show on Disney Channel. And it
Shrug?
followed quite
Look,
literally
I watched Disney
the Proud
XD.
Family.
Okay, the actual Disney Channel was full of like so many just mid as
This was back in the
fuck
generation
shows.
where Disney actually had a better representation than they do nowadays.
Bro, you were watching that shit on the Ooga Booga TV. Fucking
No.
caveman head ass.
No, this is
No.
after Fred Flintstone.
My bad.
He did get to watch the first airing of Fred Flintstone.
That's so true.
That was back when it was a stage play.
Yeah, I don't recognize that shit at all.
Oh yeah, I've seen an episode or two.
Dude, it was such a good TV show. I loved
I
watching
didn't watch a single episode of that. I didn't even know that existed.
Oh.
I mean, listen, I think that if there was room to tell a monster story in the Proud Family, it would have been cooler for them to actually write a monster
They did.
story
They kind of had like peanut things.
rather than cashing in Lilo and Stitch and just putting it there, you know?
Oh god, hold on. I gotta find the peanuts things. Peanut head.
Crossovers suck.
Yeah,
Just use your
there
own
he
goddamn
is.
characters. It's unnecessary.
Or write an original story that
Just-
uses a generalized premise, right?
Just don't cheap out, you know.
Dr. Carver and his peanut heads. Oh god, I remember that one.
Crossovers are inherently bad for the material that's crossing over and inherently very uncreative. End of point.
Unsustainable, not interesting, makes a lot of money. That's why corporations keep doing it. Stupid. Not happy about it.
It's value extraction is what it is, because it will make you money in the short term, but it makes the things you're crossing over less valuable.
It's
overall.
like literally, it's like taking these IPs and they're like mounds of golden ore, right? And you keep mining away at them with these crossovers, and you'll get gold out of them. You'll get plenty, but eventually you just run out of ore.
Anywho, Spence, you
Mi-
wanted to talk
Minecraft
about
reference.
burger tokens overthrowing the U.S. economy? What the fuck is up with that?
Hamburger.
So, some
Hamburger.
time ago, McDonald's made Big Mac tokens.
Eating a
Have you
burger
heard
with
of
no honey
these?
mustard.
I have now.
Okay.
You could trade in
So-
one.
So, back in 2018, for the 50th anniversary of the Big Mac, McDonald's minted coins. A total of 6.2 million of these coins.
Why would you make
Each one
coins
would be
taste like
redeemable
mint?
for one Big Mac.
Okay.
Now, if you will remember, prior to the disbanding of the gold standard, back when the US dollar was backed by the gold standard, you could trade in your money, your dollar, for $1 worth of gold.
Mm-hmm.
So, ever since the disbanding of the gold standard, the dollar has technically not been backed by anything other than the economy and willpower of the United States. At
It is indeed a
At the
fiat
time
currency.
of the minting of the Big Mac coins, they were backed by more than the US dollar, and thereby actually worth more than the US dollar, based on the fact that it was backed by something. Even as, and not only that, they didn't like make it indefinitely. There was a limited supply. There were 6.2 million of these tokens.
Dude, those numinalists that I was talking about the episode prior,
They-
they go crazy for some Big Mac coin.
And they were actually like, it's wacky to think about it, like, because it's
So you're saying I could have bought, say, $1,000 worth of those coins, and I would have septupled my money
yeah,
because it was essentially like $1 for a Big Mac.
no,
Not quite.
it's no, they were about the same price as a Big Mac.
So it would have been like I
But
would
the
have
thing
tripled.
is, no, basically you probably would have broke even because they were about the same price as a Big Mac.
Yeah, I'm talking about having them, like buying them, and then waiting till now.
Oh yeah, because one token now is like $14,
Which is more than a Big Mac.
which is more than a Big Mac. The only thing is,
I would have deca-quack-tupled my money.
the only issue is now they're not backed by anything because that ended.
So,
The only value they have now is with coin collectors.
Spence, I hate to break your bubble.
Yeah.
It's
But-
burst.
but-
Actually.
Listen, bubbles can break, pop, or burst. They exist in a, like,
I'm gonna-
soapy liquid
I'm gonna
state.
pop you.
I hate to break your bubble.
God.
But the U.S. currency has always been a fiat currency, even when it was backed by gold, because we made more money than we had gold to give people. So if everyone decided to trade their U.S. money in for gold, there would have just been an economic collapse.
I mean, technically, the same would have probably happened with
That's
McDonald's.
based. What if we just
If
do that
everyone
again?
went in and traded in their tokens at once, oh, McDonald's would have fucking died.
Yeah, it would have caused an economic crash. That's why fiat currencies are actually more stable than currencies backed by anything. Because even though like gold backed or burger backed or oil backed currencies,
Baby back. Baby
Ribs?
back.
dead baby backed currencies.
Whoa. I didn't say
Oh.
dead. That's edgy. You're canceled.
What the fuck, you're
That's it. That's it. You're now a dwarf in the CGI film Snow White.
I cannot think of a worse fate.
You have been condemned to eternal hell.
Oh no.
Oh, great happens.
God damn, that's so awful to imagine. I lost my train of thought. It left the station.
That's awesome. I'm happy I could do
You
this.
have been committed to the movie. You are now eternally imprisoned in
Okay.
that hell.
Okay. They're more stable. Fiat currencies are more stable than currencies backed by anything, even though currencies that aren't backed by anything are more prone to inflation. And that's just because non-fiat currencies always have the problem of there being too much money required for the money supply and it causing some form of economic collapse. So as population expands but supply of precious metals don't, you have an issue where people need to trade with money, but there's not enough money for people to effectively trade, and it causes this like congregation of wealth and like hyper classism issues. So like fiat currency is just generally better for most people than like a gold backed currency.
Well, yes. But
That
I was more pointing this out to be like, do you think this would be better than going back to like the gold standard if we
The
just
Big Mac
backed
standard?
it by a burger?
The Big Mac standard.
That would be so quintessentially American.
It would be, but I do have two counterpoints to raise. There are technically better things to base currency on in the U.S. than
a Big Mac,
than McDonald's.
I mean, to be fair,
There are two. There are
okay,
two.
what's the second?
Okay, the second is Walmart.
You'd rather have a Walmart token?
A Walmart token has more sustainability than a McDonald's token. Mostly because Walmart has the world's, I think it's 8th largest economy.
What about a gas token?
That's the U.S. dollar.
Okay, so yeah,
that's I
feel
then
stupid.
At that point in time, why not make an Amazon token or Amazon?
Amazon was number one.
You
Actually,
get a hentai haven token.
I think you can do that. I'm pretty sure they have an NFT or some
Oh my god,
shit.
this is just crypto.
I don't know
real.
from experience,
Oh
but
my god,
I'm
it's all
sure.
scams. Who would have
Dude.
thought?
It's all scams. Always has been.
Dude,
Oops,
think about
all
it.
scams.
Dude, McDonald's was rug pulling before it was cool. Dude.
Yeah, they had a rug
The
section.
Big Mac token fucking crawled so the Hawk Tuah coin could run.
But the thing is, the Hawk Tuah coin was backed
Think
by
about
nothing.
that. That phrase has never been uttered, and this is the first time it's been said.
To be fair, the Big Mac token was also backed by very little because McDonald's could have declined the coupon at any point due to some contract, I'm sure, and also
The
they could have
contract
just
expired.
literally closed, and then your currency's not backed by anything because McDonald's decided to shut down business operations.
Realistically, you probably could walk into a McDonald's with a Big Mac token now and be like, here.
No.
And you'd probably get you'd get a Big Mac, dude.
Nope, they canceled. They discontinued the promotion.
Okay, but what if you pull out a firearm?
That's a crime. That's crime.
We do not encourage criminal activity
Not
on
only-
this family podcast.
Trevor, you do not get a Big Mac for pulling out a gun. Instead, what you get is a
I'm
felony.
I'm sorry. I forgot that firearms are family friendly. Please don't send me back to the chamber.
Anyway, we're
The chamber full of snakes.
anyway. No, they discontinued the promotion.
What if you use two?
But the thing is, the actual value of the tokens itself now is with collectors.
Yeah.
What if I go up to a collector with a coin and say I'd like a Big Mac?
They would probably trade you a Big Mac for a coin because the coins are worth more than
It's
Big Macs
still
now.
worth.
Honestly, wouldn't that just be the black market for Big Macs? The
See-
Big Mac black market?
See, here's the real
The black-
dystopian thing.
Big Mac market.
There are currently RuneScape-backed economies right now.
Zimbabwe.
There are small African countries that farm gold on RuneScape, which is worth more than the money they trade in their current African country. And they make a living.
They're gamers for a living.
They make a living farming gold on RuneScape and then selling it to RuneScape whales.
I hate it.
I can't believe it. They probably got webcams and low taper fades.
I promise.
No, they got.
I promise the RuneScape farmers do not have low taper fades.
Do you think? Come on, they gotta have low taper fades if they're streaming it. Maybe.
I'll taper your fade lowly.
You know what? I feel like Ninja should have gotten a low taper fade,
He did. That's the joke.
but like he didn't.
Oh my fucking.
That's why the meme goes, imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade.
Can we add this to the list of worst things to come out of last year?
What load paper tray?
Okay, you guys wanted me to bring up Shamrock Shakes because apparently this episode's been pessimistic as fuck.
In a world with dark, blackened skies ruined by negativity and pessimism, a dying sun slowly rotting its innards out into space, we have the Holy Grail, the one light in the darkness of the diamond in the rough. Shamrock Shakes are back, baby. They did not take them away.
Okay, guys.
Oh no, they did take them away, but that was from last year.
Yeah, but like they're not gone permanently.
No.
To the listeners at home, I want to point out, I work with Trevor. I was with Trevor all day at work. He was in a positive, happy mood all day.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we always record on Fridays, and that means we always have a weekend. We watched the Snow White trailer, the Minecraft trailer, and the Shrek 5 trailer. And he got in a dark and brooding mood where he's talking about the last embers of a dying sun and the ash-ridden sky. Motherfucker was cheerful as one of the dwarves in the original Snow White.
Okay, we're good.
Like,
I was about to crash
2 hours ago. But fucking, now that we've seen these movie trailers, he's like, our one glimmer of hope
Humanity's dying out.
Is paying $10
It's like
for some mildly minty ice cream in some milk.
this shit is like Dark Souls 3, okay?
It's the Estus flask.
And the Estus the Estus flask is my Shamrock Shake, my beloved.
Can we get a mod for Dark Souls 3?
Is it you know that gif of like it's like a really shitty gif. It's the heart locket opening up and there's the two
The
white
hamster.
yeah, well, there's the hamster one, but then it says my beloved and then there's Shamrock Shake on the right.
Oh my god.
It's back. That's all I just wanted to bring up. They're back. They're awesome. They even have, I don't know if this was something they introduced recently, but they also have the Shamrock Shake McFlurry.
They had that last year.
They had that last year,
but
but
the year before.
But it hasn't been a thing for like very long, right?
No.
I remember it just being the shake for a while. But
It's
I haven't tried
relatively
that.
new because the Shamrock Shake isn't drumming up as much popularity as it did.
It should. That's all we have left.
I'll show you how to blend mint and vanilla ice cream at home.
Improbable.
Improbable?
How are we supposed to find those resources across these fetid wastelands?
Oh my god, you were just cheerful before we watched the Shrek 5 trailer.
Trust me, you watched it too. You understand where I'm coming from.
Spence, your Shamrock Shake take.
The second dwarf was mewing.
I'll take it or leave it. It's alright. It's a shake.
Yeah.
Slightly minty.
It's better than that.
It tastes like alright.
Creamy salvation.
I don't... Okay. Listen, we were talking about chatbots a minute ago, okay? That's
I'm
different
talking
topic.
about the shake.
Listen, we were talking about chatbots a minute ago. That's a different thing.
Oh man.
Yeah, that reminds me. Just one little other thing, okay? So, I get creamer for my coffee. I know a lot of people do. There's a hashtag on the back of the International Delight ones. I'm pretty sure it's International Delight.
We can't bring out company
It's-
names.
it's that
So
or-
you mean Bitternational
Yeah,
Delight.
or Boffy Mate.
Or Buffy, mate.
And it says on the back, there's a hashtag that they keep promoting, and it says Creamer Nation Unite, and it says hashtag Creamer Nation. Motherfuckers, you're gonna get on Twitter and say hashtag Creamer Nation.
I really hope that there's no crossover with the hashtag Goonerism crowd.
Oh no, that's just porn. But yeah, that's a real thing. You know what? I'll show you after filming because I have a hashtag upstairs.
You should start an online trend of tweeting porn.
And then just saying Creamers Unite. Just
Hashtag Creamer
just
Nation.
completely missing the point of what it's supposed to represent.
Just tweet out random porn.
The profile picture is actually just a bottle of the creamer. like make the actual profile page like completely promotional. It's like it seems like the most bland bullshit corporation like profile ever, and then it's just literally hardcore porn in every single post.
And just hashtag
Creamers Unite, hashtag Creamer Nation.
Oh my god.
But yeah, the Shamrock Shake is back, and it's pretty good.
All right. Is that all we wanted to talk about on this?
Spencer, you have a bath hoe you must present.
Ah, yes. Today's shower thought presented for your delectation. Octopi, which is the plural of octopus, are really just wet spiders.
I think you mean crabs.
I think you mean mineral.
That's a deep cut that our listeners won't understand.
I've been movie. I'm movie. Not a good one,
no,
because those
it's
don't
been-
come out anymore.
What was it? I'm cinema. He's what was it?
I'm a
Tommy, help us out here. You're the one who thought about this.
I'm creamy. He's milkshake.
Hashtag creamer
Hashtag creamers unite.
It's movie. It's cinema madness.
Yeah, wait. So you're go
He's
ahead.
madness. I'm cinema. You're milkshake.
I'm creamy.
And he's creamy. He's Creamer Nation. Good night, everybody.